We've all had our firsts, and this year I had mine. So let's just jump in and talk about it. Hey guys, welcome back to Lee and GC Face the Movies. And if you're new here, I'm GC. Now I know what you're thinking. Where the hell is Lee? And and well, Lee is actually we've all been a little busy with the holidays and with work. And I mean, I'm sure some of you guys have noticed, if you're subscribers and you watch our videos, you've noticed that we haven't posted anything in maybe 13 days now. And I know it probably feels like a month or two. So we do apologize, and we definitely plan on getting back on track starting January. Now, as we talked in a few of our last videos, we actually talked about changing the format a little bit. And it doesn't mean we're not going to be doing deep dives or, hauls or top 10 lists. We are actually going to bring those in the truckload, but we're also going to be doing single videos like this. There's a lot of stuff that we want to cover, and we just want to go ahead and start catering to you guys and making more stuff like this where it's a little bit more intimate, and then doing stuff together. And speaking of intimate, I want to talk about my first this year. And no, get your head out of a gutter. That's not what we're here to talk about. But I actually want to talk about Criterion. And I know what you're thinking as well. If you're movie buffs and cinephiles and collectors, you're going to think, dude, Criterion's been around for quite some time. But for me, it's actually something new that I just discovered. And I wouldn't say just discovered, but Criterion and I have been kind of flirting for the last few months. I mean, even from the beginning of the year. Every time I go to Barnes and Noble, I walk by that section and I find myself just staring at the Criterion section, and I'm wondering to myself, I'm like, man, who is paying $49.99 for a Blu-ray or 50, $60 for a 4K? And to answer that question, it's all of us. And it's very interesting because yeah, I got kind of spoiled this year with finding like a ton of movies. I'm talking about a ton. I mean, I would say out of almost 900 movies that I have, including like TV shows and stuff like that, 90% of my collection has been used movies. And it's either been pawn shops, thrift shops, used bookstores, even like sales at Barnes and Noble where I've gone in and it's been like 50% off or 60% off. So I've haven't really been paying the full price for these movies almost up until now. I mean, obviously there's new releases that come out, like new steelbooks, new movies that we're just like kind of worried about them selling out, being out of print, so we just jump on. But for me, it has been Criterion. And I mean, it all started with The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. I found this Criterion at a used book and movie store, I would say around the beginning of November. It was right before the Criterion sale started, and I found this. I paid $250 for this. I looked it up online, and I could not believe this thing still runs for almost $30. And this was like Amazon. I think I checked on eBay as well, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, man, like this is, and especially I mean with this one's a little older, so as you see, it's like it still has like the blue case. It doesn't have that thick, see-through case with the booklet and all that. And yeah, it was kind of, I was so excited. I remember I messaged Brian from Last Movie Standing, and I said, dude, I found a Criterion. I talked to Lee about it, and I was like, dude, I found it. I was kind of sending the picture to a few people. I couldn't believe it. And after seeing the quality that the Criterion Collection has, like the work that they put in to preserve these films, I started understanding a little bit more. I started thinking to myself, like, man, these people are actually doing a huge service. I mean, they're preserving movies from all the way from the 1920s. And it started changing my view on older films. Growing up, like I would watch black and white movies and at least try to, and I just could not get into them, especially movies that did not have any dialogue. And now that I've gotten older, I mean, I've talked about this on the channel, and I'm not shy to mention it. I just turned 37, and my palette for film has changed. I mean, for the better, and I've learned to appreciate not just a lot of the new stuff, but just going back to the roots where everything kind of started. Now, thanks to the Criterion collection, I saw one of my first oldest movies, which was from 1923, and it was just mind blowing. I saw Phantom of the Opera. That one is not. I don't believe it's in the Criterion collection, but it is one that I did find, and if it's not on there, I'm surprised because it's phenomenal, the original one. And yeah, I just started going from there. I started kind of getting a little obsessive with it. A buddy of mine, he has HBO and he shares it with me. Do not tell anybody if you're watching this. But I I realized that they actually had Criterion movies on there. So I watched The Seventh Seal. Um, I'm trying to think of quite a few movies that I've watched, but we're gonna jump into the physical at least. I'll get back to you guys on the list of movies that I've seen on HBO. And it kind of allowed me to be able to take a test drive before obviously like putting up that money. I mean, $20, $25, $15. I mean, even 50. Like, we all work hard and we're all trying to budget and we have other expenses. So to me, it was like, man, I have to really justify this purchase and obviously making a budget and all that good stuff. But definitely the streaming allowed me to kind of take a bit of a test drive, even though obviously it is compressed and all that, but being able to enjoy these films and saying, okay, I'm definitely buying this. And I want to go ahead and get started on talking about the ones that I actually ended up purchasing. Now, before we even jump on that, I know you've probably heard this a billion times from every other channel in the world, and it's a regular YouTube thing, but I just want to go ahead and ask for you to take the few seconds. If you enjoy this video, if you enjoy our content, please go ahead and subscribe, follow, hit the notification bell, and we're gonna go make sure that we continue, creating these videos. That kind of lets us know as well that you're enjoying the work. So that way we're listening to you guys. We want to cater. We want to make sure, let us know in the comments if there's anything you want us to talk about in particular. We'd be more than happy to. I know eventually when we get to a certain subscriber count, we want to go ahead and do live streams and all that fun stuff. But now that we got that out of the way, that whole spiel, let's go ahead and jump in on the hauls that I made for November, but also my first Criterion purchases, besides obviously the one we already talked about, Benjamin Button. Now this one I love this movie so much. I know a lot of you do as well. I've talked to a few of you in the community, and this is the Before Trilogy. Now this one here is a Blu-ray. Hopefully we can get the camera to focus. But man, this box set is, I mean, it's beautiful. And with this video, this is going to be a short and sweet type of video. If you do want me to jump into detail on these box sets and kind of open them up and all that and do more of a deep dive on these films, I'd love to do that for you guys. So let me know. But the Before Trilogy, I mean, man, talk about like romance and like one of those type of love movies, and one of those movies that it's so realistic when it comes to love and just conversation. I mean, if you're somebody that's into a film where it kind of puts on display like a beautiful city like Paris, and you just love dialogue and deep thought conversation, like this is the movie for you. They make 3 different films, and just make sure to look into this one. It's highly recommended. I mean, this is one of my favorite like trilogies of all time. Eventually, Lee and I will be doing a discussion as this as well. Now, and that's one thing I forgot to mention. I got the ones that I'm going to mention now. I got at Barnes and Noble during the sale. I went there and I kind of looked around, and this one I had to order from the Barnes and Noble website. So yeah, unfortunately they did not have this one in stock. I just wanted to hold it, look at it, smell the brand new scent of Blu-ray. I know some of you guys will relate to that. And I want to also talk about Uncut Gems. I mean, look at this. Like, this is freaking ridiculous. Like, this is so beautiful, the packaging. I know as soon as I saw this, I was like, man, like, are you kidding me? Like, they did a phenomenal job on this. I mean, man, the movie alone, to me, in my opinion, this definitely deserves to be in the Criterion collection. And another fucking masterpiece. This is YouTube, guys, so we gotta talk how we feel. We can't just censor ourselves, right? But anyway, this one is Labamba. If you haven't seen this movie, this is based on a true story. Richie Valens, unfortunately, he passed away. But I mean, we all, if you haven't seen this movie, I mean, this is from 1987, the year I was born. So highly recommend it. This one, as soon as I saw that they had this, I had to get it. I mean, this is a movie that I grew up watching and freaking Blu-ray. You kidding me? I saw this on VHS. I mean, another one that I picked up in the store, the sound of metal. I mean, man, like if you have a fear of losing like your hearing, I mean, do not watch this movie. And that's not a spoiler or anything. This is definitely not gonna be a spoiler-filled video. This one is actually you'll see this in the movie trailer. So, but phenomenal, phenomenal. I mean, if you yeah, if you, I mean, yeah. So you've been warned. If you have one of those phobias, just don't watch the movie or watch it. And I mean, it's gonna be okay. And yeah, it's phenomenal. Now the next batch that I'm gonna talk about, I got these on Amazon, and it's only because they didn't have these in the Barnes and Noble store that pretty much any of them that I live nearby. So and obviously they were still on sale on Amazon due to the Criterion sale until the end of the world. This one I haven't seen. So I'm gonna show you guys 3 movies that I haven't seen that I just had to pick up because I knew right away just reading the description that it was something I was gonna love. This is the Blu-ray edition, and this one is supposed to be the cut that's supposed to be almost 5.5 hours. And this is directed by Wim. It's a film by Wim Wenders, which, if I'm not mistaken, is The Seventh Seal. And that one is, I mean, blew my mind. But yeah, this is one that I'm excited to watch, and I'm gonna have to dedicate 5.5 hours to sit through it. But it's just, I mean, basically the film takes place where it's kind of a scientific fiction, and it follows Claire, the character, where she goes across continents as she pursues a mysterious stranger in possession of a device that can make a blind see and bring dream images in walking life. Now, if you have a phobia of going blind, this one might not be the movie for you, or maybe it will. Again, I guess we have kind of a theme going on here. But the next one I was so excited to get, and it actually came with a poster, which is pretty cool. It's called Night of the Living Dead. Classic. I've yet to see this one. I've seen almost all of George A. Romero's movies, but this one. So I can't wait to dive into it. The only thing I'm missing, and this is the 4K. It comes with the Blu-ray as well. The only thing that I'm missing is the Dawn of the Dead 4K, and that's it. I'll have the trilogy complete. Love that movie. I can't wait for them to bring it to the States. If you're an avid collector and you love George A. Romero's movies, I'm sure you know that the 4K is region free, but the box set, the Blu-rays are not, unfortunately. So that's kind of, I'm kind of holding off. Now the next one is one that I've read the book, but I have not seen. And again, this I've heard nothing but great things about. And this is 1984. So I mean, this I'm definitely excited. And like I mentioned, these 3 were all on Amazon. And I want to talk about my last Criterion purchase, which this is something that I heard phenomenal things about as well. And this is I heard this from the channel Films by Color. I hope I'm saying it right, but I'm gonna make sure I tag them on here in this video, put their info in the description. Really cool channel, and it's interesting because I follow a few, like the Movie Den, Last Movie Standing, 80s Made, like all these different channels from from one video or another, they actually talk about their Criterion collection, especially during the hauls. And one channel that I noticed that talks about Criterion very regularly is Films by Color. And I started watching some of their videos and just kind of watching the videos where they go into the whole Barnes and Noble and they're just talking about certain films and just doing these cool hauls and pickups. And it started getting me more interested. So then when I, like I mentioned before, going into the Barnes and Noble and seeing the section, I was just like, man, like this is what they're talking about. Like, okay. And it kind of got me, you know, a little hooked. And yeah, a few purchases later, and now I love Criterion. And this film is, I mean, this video is not sponsored or in any way, shape, or form. It's just, I really appreciate what they're doing, and it's very exciting stuff. But anyway, the last pickup that I actually got from the channel Haunted Hippie, and she was selling this on her Posh. I think that's what it's called. I just want to go ahead and make sure I get that right for you guys. But she has like a little shop on there. Let me see here. Sorry for the delay. Yeah, Poshmark. That's what it is. And I'm fairly new to it. That's really the only one time that I bought something on there. But I ended up getting Badlands. And like I was mentioning, she gave me a phenomenal deal on it, so I really appreciate that. And like I was mentioning, Films by Color actually talked about this film in one of their videos, and it just seems so interesting, and takes place in 1959. And I mean, yeah, it's pretty exciting stuff. Now, what's going to be my future with Criterion? Like, am I going to keep buying stuff? Am I going to keep collecting it? Absolutely. Am I going to collect every single Criterion film? Maybe not. And the reason I say that, it's because I actually have a ton of movies that are already in the Criterion collection on just standard Blu-ray and 4K. And I just thought to myself, I was like, is it worth me like buying the same film over? Especially, I mean, and again, these movies I got for about less than $3, and that's including 4Ks as well. So it's one of those. Is it going to be worth it? It would be. It would be worth, based on how they refurbish these films, and like the extras that they have. They're approved by the directors, writers. I mean, some of them come with like these booklets with these posters and so on. And it's obviously worth it if you don't have it. But if you do have the film, I mean, maybe in the future. Like, I mean, for example, if I have Wall-E and Blu-ray, and Criterion has it in 4K, and I'm looking to upgrade, yeah, I'll do it in the future. You know, obviously finances are right and all that good stuff if there's a sale. But for the most part, for now, I would say I have about, maybe I have about 6 or 7 movies that are not actual, Criterion stamped, so to speak. But yeah, this was a video that I've been wanting to do for the last few weeks. And I mean, pretty much since November, since the sale. I mean, I saw these cool videos that you guys were making, and just sharing all your hauls and everything. And I was like, man, I'm excited to not only share these hauls, but just kind of talk about my first experience. And it was definitely memorable. I mean, I finally got to actually understand what was going on there every time I walked by those aisles. And I'm gonna probably drop a little montage. So editor GC is gonna pop a montage here of kind of the aisles. So as you're seeing here, this just a quick little scan, and it's an exciting time. And I know in the near future, Lee and I are going to be doing another video with Criterion, and we're going to be talking about our top favorite films for 2024, or at least Criterion releases. So kind of make sure, keep an eye out for that. And again, guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments, what was your first Criterion movie that you picked up, and which one's your favorite? Which one you plan on getting? I mean, man, I have a bit of a list of movies, and I'm just dying for that flash sale, or I guess till from here to July, to be able to kind of get those as well. I know the bearded film guy, he actually posted the Videorama picture on Instagram that he recently bought, and man, was I jealous. I was like, dude, you're teasing me with that. I messed up. I didn't get it during November, and now I have to wait and be patient. Or if not, obviously you pay extra. So I'm just gonna be patient and wait. So guys, thanks again. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check us out on Apple Podcasts. Check us out on Spotify. We're on there as well. So if you're driving, you're busy, you got the kids, or whatever the case may be, go ahead and listen to the videos in audio format. And when you do get the chance, check out the videos. And yeah, looking forward to making more content, guys. Thank you, and we'll see you on the next one.